So today's video is going to be about my fitness journey. So I'm going to start all the way from the beginning and then up until now. Um, this is really a lot. Like, I've really been prolonging this video just because I don't really like, I talk about my fitness journey, but like now I'm like actually putting it out there like for everybody to kind of see. One of the first things that I want to talk about is the very first year I started. So straight out of high school, I was just doing what I did in high school, just, eating whatever I wanted, not working out, the usual. And then I noticed that I started to gain weight. And so I was very conscious of that. And then I also started to do pageants. And with some pageants, not now anymore, but mostly then, there's a swimsuit competition. So was actually pretty small still, but I didn't feel like I was. So when I did, when we had to do on stage swimsuit, I was scared out of my mind. But I still did it because I had to. It's a pageant, I wanted to win. And that just kind of was like, okay, like you need to really like get in shape, or start working out or something like that. So 2015, around like April, I started working out on a consistent basis. Like, I was probably working out about 5 to 6 times a week. And I wasn't really pushing myself. I was just going to these classes, and they pretty much had class like every day. And so I just went when I wasn't working or at school. So I did that, and then I noticed that I needed to start changing my eating habits. So I started cooking. And if you know me, you know that cooking is like not really my thing, but I try my hardest. So I started cooking, and I was cooking like chicken, broccoli, and brown rice every day. That's all I ate. And I also had a protein shake for one meal, and then sometimes I would switch it up and do like a blueberry smoothie or something like that. But for the most part, that's what it was. We would go out to eat. I would always get a salad, no cheese, no croutons, really just the dressing and the lettuce. And if there was a meat, so like chicken. And I lost so much weight doing that. Like, I literally lost 20 pounds. So it was a combination of me working out as much as I did, me um, me eating properly all the time. There was never a break, there was never a cheat day, nothing. And also, just me being young. I was like 19, so my metabolism was already pretty high, and then I literally just kicked it up a whole like 6 notches by doing that. And I think what really kicked me later in life was the fact that when I did that, I was doing it for something. So I was doing it for the next pageant, which ended up being the end of 2015 in November. So I had about 7, 8 months, I think. Yeah. I had to get in shape. And in that time, I lost 20 pounds of fat. I gained a lot of muscle. I lost like 10% body fat. Like, it was crazy. And even before the pageant, I still felt like there was a lot more work I could do. And I'm going to insert pictures so like you can see what I'm talking about when I say I was really, really small. I weighed 145 pounds and I'm 5'6.5". Okay, mostly like 5'6", but yeah, so that was the absolute, like, at the time I was like, oh, you know, like I feel still need to lose my weight, but looking back, like, it was insane. And then, you know, I did the pageant and I didn't win. And I was like, okay, well, what else is there? And so for me, in my head at that time, I thought, well, the look is what is going to get me to win, which in most pageants, that is the case. And I'm not knocking pageants at all. However, this particular kind, there was this aspect of your actual personality. And if you know me, you know I don't talk much. Well, I do talk more than I used to, but I'm very like I just watch people, and when I do talk, I don't have really a lot to say. So for me in this pageant, there's an interview aspect that I failed to acknowledge that is the reason why I didn't win. I had the look, but there's an interview aspect to that. You have to be yourself, and I was focused more on what I looked like versus, you know, my answers and all of that. So I didn't win, and everything kind of just took a turn right there. Like, I was like, well, if it's not the look, then I don't need to worry about my look. Now, 2016, I was still like kind of working out. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes just to make sure I say everything. I was working out about 2 to 4 times a week, so I kind of like toned it down a whole lot. My eating, I kind of like started to eat like, whatever I wanted, but I still tried to maintain a decent level of health. I was still like health conscious. So there was a decent balance. I did gain weight, obviously, because I wasn't like on a super strict diet or meal plan anyway. And I'm going to insert a picture here because at my graduation, I felt myself like gaining weight, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm fat, and I really wasn't. I have like no words, but and looking back now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I really looked really good right here. Like in 2016, like I was fine. I was like, sis, and that's part of the problem. Like I spent all of my time not accepting my body for what it was, and just like not acknowledging my body throughout the process. Like, it's okay. Like I gained about 20 pounds in 6 months. So I went from 145 to 165 from the end of 2015 to like April of 2016. And I was like, oh my gosh, like when I stepped on the scale, and that's the scale, me and the scale, we just have this love-hate relationship. When it says what I want it to say, I love it. When it doesn't say what I don't want it to say, it's a mess. But throughout all of that, I, was still like okay. Like I still kind of like occasionally, felt cute, but like most of the time I was just like, oh my gosh, like I gained so much weight and I just felt like I was so fat. fast forward to the next year, 2017, through from mid 2016, so like August, I started working at a school, and I didn't have as much time to work out. Um, I did work out here and there, probably about 3 times a week at most. Um, I was getting prepared for another pageant. I, was working out. But I was kind of like my meal plan switched up. I started to eat a lot of carbs, so a lot of pastas and that kind of thing. And it actually helped, surprisingly. A lot of people have like um, a not so good thing with carbs, but they kind of worked as far as what I needed it to do. I was more so just trying to tone my upper body. My lower body could stay like it was. I'm an African American woman, and we're just built differently. It's just, we are just built differently. So I wasn't worried about my lower body as much as I was my upper body. So like March of 2017, I got strep throat. I was working at a school, so in kindergarten. I got strep throat, and I was taking the medication for it, and then around day 9, I had an allergic reaction. And I actually had a video on my channel talking about that, but I deleted it when I deleted all my old videos. But that was like the worst. I had an allergic reaction to the medication that I was taking for strep, and I literally broke out all over. My body was itching from the inside, and it was like the worst week and a half of my life. I was scratching like a crackhead. It was just, it was an absolute struggle. But during that time, at the end of the month, when all of that was over, I was like, I think I'm going to go ahead and change my diet. Maybe if I was a little bit healthier, I could kind of fight off stuff like that a little bit better. Seeing as how I'm working in the school, I need to really be, more health conscious. So I started back working out a little bit. Like I said, probably like 2 or 3 times a week in major. And then I went to 100% plant-based. So the first 3 weeks, mostly all I ate was potatoes. Like potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. Like baked potato, like anything, pretty much French fries, like a potato. Like if it was in a potato, or if it was a potato, that's what I was eating. And I didn't really see results. I was tired because I wasn't getting any protein whatsoever. So, yeah. And then I ended up taking a trip down to Texas to see my family. And I told my grandmother that I was vegan. And she was like, okay, so what does that mean? And I'm like, well, I'm not eating meat or dairy. And she was like, okay, well, you buy groceries, and then, I'll cook. So whatever you buy, make sure it's something that I can cook. So she cooked for me. They took me out to a lot of vegan restaurants, and they really accommodated to that. And during that week I was there, I worked out 6 out of the 7 days that I was there. 6 out of the 7 days. And we were at the gym for like 2.5 hours. Like my grandmother, she she works out. Like I couldn't keep up. And I just kept going because she kept going. And then later she told me at the end of the week, she said, yeah, no, I just kept going because you kept going. And I was like, we was at the gym for 2.5 hours just trying to keep up with the other person. So needless to say, that week, when I got back home and I stepped on the scale, I had lost 15 pounds. Now, I don't necessarily know if that week I lost 15 pounds or if it was from the time I started till now, 15 pounds, because I wasn't tracking my weight, but I lost 15 pounds. And when I got back, I lost another 5 in that second week that I was back. And I kind of maintained, and then around June, I started having issues with my back because I wasn't getting enough protein. If you know me, you know I don't like beans unless they're baked. And I didn't know much about soy or like other plant-based protein. I didn't know. So my back was inflamed. I had to get an x-ray and everything, and they were pretty much just like, hey, you're gonna need to either add protein or go back to meat. And because I couldn't figure out how to add any protein, I was like, fine, I'll just go back to meat. And after that, like, I just then I started back gaining all the weight I lost because I wasn't eating meat. Then I went back to eating meat and dairy, not just meat, but I also went back to eating dairy. Um, but I was working out and I was still looking pretty like good. Like, I wasn't like, I felt at the time, I felt, and like I said, I'm gonna insert pictures. But at the time, I felt worse. Like, I felt like I looked worse than I actually did. Like, looking back, I was just like, wow. And then there was like a 6 month period where like I didn't work out at all. Yeah. And then I started going back to the gym like the end of 2017. And yeah, then I went on this period of time in between 2017 and like early 2018 where eat I would eat clean and work out for like a week, and then I wouldn't see results right away, and then I would just binge for like a month. Like, I did this for like 5 or 6 months, so my weight was just up and down, up and down, up and down, and it was insane. And then um, early 2018, I started cosmetology school, and that was just it. For working out. That was it for eating healthy. Like, from 2018 all the way until I graduated high school. I mean, not high school. Graduated cosmetology school in 2019. I was eating fast food the majority of the time. I rarely cooked. And yeah, I was not working out at all. Like, I was just trying to survive. I mean, my work day consisted of because I never lived in the city I worked in. So it was either a 30 to 45 minute drive to work. Um, and I would be at work until 3:30, and then a 45-minute drive to school. I had to be at school at 5:30, and I was there until 10 p.m. at night, and then a 45-minute drive home. I was living in my car practically because I literally used my apartment to sleep, and that was it. But most of the time, I was in the car. Like, I spent the majority of my time in the car. So I was eating whatever, whenever I could, like, And occasionally I would be like, oh, like, let's work out. And I would do it for like a day, or I'll eat clean for like a day. And then I'd be like, no, like, I'm pretty sure I was probably eating in between like 3,000 and 4,000 calories a day. Like, no lie. Like literally, I would eat breakfast, and then for dinner, no, for like our break at school, I would eat like, there was this Mexican food place down the street, and I would get carne asada fries, and then for dinner on the way home, I would stop at Wendy's. Like, that was my whole day, like, of eating. Fast food, fast food, fast food. That's all I ate. Unless I came to my mom's house on Sunday and she cooked, and then I would eat that. But yeah, so that was that time. And that's literally all I did. Like, there was no working out at all. And yeah, so a mess. And then August of 2019, so just last year, I graduated from cosmetology school, and I had so much time on my hands. I took a road trip right after I graduated, and then when I came back, I was like, you know, let's 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 do this. Let's do this. You got the time to do it. Um, you have the time, the means. You can do it. You can do it. So in the beginning, it was rough. I stepped on the scale that first day because I needed to know where I was, where I wanted to get to, and the first step was to acknowledge that I had gone from whenever the last time I weighed myself, 2017, to where I was 2019. And, acknowledge, okay, this is how much weight you've gained. When you were at your happiest, what was your weight? Is that where you want to be? Where do you want to be? How much weight do you need to lose? What do you need to do to lose that weight? So, August through like November was hard. The first thing I tried to do was I didn't really work out during that time. Like, I may have done like one or two workouts a week. Um, and, I ended up losing like about 5 pounds in those few months. Um, and I was really trying to just switch things out slowly for like how I was eating. So I would be like, okay, um, hot Cheetos or bake some apple chips. Like, it was like things like that. So I just would try to switch things out and then try to keep them in for a couple of weeks and then switch the next thing out. So first thing, I started off with making smoothies in the morning, and then still eat whatever for lunch and dinner. And then I would switch out my lunch um, every other day for something a little bit better. And then I just kind of worked my way through, because eating to me makes the biggest difference. Like, working out, you can work out, but if you're not eating right, you're not going to see any results at all. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see any results when I work out and don't eat right. And what happens is, if I'm working out, I'm like, oh, I can eat whatever I want because I'm gonna work out later. Like, that's the mindset that I was trying to break, and the habits that I was trying to break. So I, you know, did that, and then around November, I started to get really serious about it, and I was like, look, your birthday is in January, and there's only so much progress you're gonna make from now until then. But for my 25th birthday, which is not until next year, I wanted to be at my goal weight, to be healthy, and to be at least at 25% body fat or less, because I just wanted to be healthy. Like, I noticed that I was having a hard time, like, I was breathing hard when I was coming up the stairs. Like, I was like, oh no, this is not gonna work. I'm out of breath. And all I did was go up the stairs. This is a no. So I started working out, and my sisters, we all started to work out together, which that was great. We would go about 3 to 4 times a week, and I was eating pretty clean. Still eating meat, still eating dairy, but pretty clean. And then in February, I took out, and I didn't really weigh myself until February. February, I was like, okay, it's time to take some progress pictures. We want to see if what I'm doing is making a difference, you know, and we're gonna see. So I took progress pictures and I stepped on the scale. And let me tell you, I had lost, I think it was like either 13 or 14 pounds. And I could see the change in my body. I felt better. I wasn't always out of breath. And it was just, it was great. And then in February, I was like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work towards taking meat out. So I started to try to take out red meat. And then now I'm not eating any meat at all. But slowly, you know, I took out chicken. Chicken was kind of hard, and turkey. Um, but what I noticed was that some of those foods started to make me sick. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to take them out because I'm not going to make myself sick because I'm trying to get protein. So I need to find another source of protein. And so I started to go plant-based, which is where I am now. And as of today, I am 178. So I've lost 19 pounds. So I started at 197, and that's just where I weighed myself at that day. But I'm pretty sure I probably, at some point, I probably did hit 200 or over 200 pounds. Like, whew, it's just like, and that's what really got me, was that I was like, I'm 3 pounds from 200 pounds. Like, I need to get this in check. So I, you know, lost pretty much a decent weight, and my goal weight was to be at like 175, 173, and I'm like a couple pounds from there, but I still don't feel like I'm where I need to be, and I'm like low-key working on that because I don't want to go all the way back down to 145. Like, that's just not gonna look right on me, you know. So my goal now is more so to transfer my body fat into muscle. So more muscle, less body fat. And so I'm working, and I have that kind of a scale where it measures the body fat. And so I'm not really worried more so about pounds as more as I am about like what I actually like physically look like. Obviously, I want hourglass shape. Who doesn't? But at the end of the day, it's more so about me being at my healthiest, um, wherever that is, you know. And then sometimes, like, you know, you need a little bit of meat, like on your body, like, you know, like me and skinny, we don't agree. Like, I like to be shapely or thick. And, you know, that's why I'm not focused more so on pounds. Like, I just really want to be more lean than anything else. Like, and I've learned to appreciate my body throughout the process, so that when I get to where exactly I want to be, I guess it's more so about like self-love and, you know, just loving your body throughout all of its stages. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. So like now I work out probably about 4 or 5 times a week. Leaning more towards 4 right now because these at-home workouts during quarantine are just like, I do them, but like I hate doing them because I miss the gym. But yeah, and then let's see. Right now I am tracking my calories, so I have this little app, and I eat in between 1,500 and 1,800 calories. It just kind of depends on if I worked out that day and if I didn't, and how many calories I burned. And I only do that Monday through Friday. So Saturday and Sunday, I don't track my calories at all. I don't binge eat, but I try to kind of give myself a little bit of leniency. I still don't eat meat during those days. I will dabble a little bit with the dairy, but I try to still stay within my means. But like Monday through Friday, you won't see me eat ice cream, but on Saturday and Sunday, you're probably gonna see me eat ice cream and eating chips and all sorts of things. But I just try to give myself a little bit of a break so that there's that healthy balance and I don't just go off and like binge eat. There have been plenty of times in between August of last year and now where I have literally just wanted to just go eat like whole pizzas by myself, eat hot Cheetos, like all sorts of things. And I'm just like, you have a goal, working, and then you see the results. You try to do what you can to keep the results and keep it going. Like you always want to be progressing. You never just want to have a set mindset like, okay, when I hit this, then I'm done. Because then when you hit that, like I noticed before, like when I was doing pageants, when I hit that goal weight, then I stopped, you know, and then I felt like there wasn't a reason to work out. There wasn't a reason to eat clean because, oh, the pageant's over, or oh, the event is over, or, you know, whatever. You just have to keep going and just push, you know, you just gotta push yourself. But yeah, so that is today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling about my fitness journey, and I hope to see you guys in the next